This take has got to do with the Orlando Magic, my favorite team, and Mo Bamba. Clearly, my least favorite Orlando Magic player at the moment. I don't know what the hell he's doing and what he was thinking when he decided to take a swing at Austin Rivers. I'm sure you've seen the clip. Yeah, yeah, and I guess my take here is that uh, this stuff needs to be clamped down. Okay. I think these NBA players get too much of a slap on the wrist when these sort of things escalate and really do not help the image of the game. I don't know why. Like, what are we guessing he's going to get here? Mo Bamba might get 2 games. What do you reckon?
So I guess for people who don't think about it like this, a game suspension is different per player, right? So a player that
Just because of the
earns
wages,
five
correct?
hundred thousand dollars
Yep.
per game, if they miss 2 games, they've been essentially fined $1 million. But a
Mm-hmm.
player who is earning 20,000 a game is only getting fined 40,000. So the number of the fine is not relative. It's kind of like if we got a speeding ticket and then it's based off your salary,
Yep.
right? So there's not a flat rate for these things.
Yep.
We know he's
Yep.
going to get less than 5 games. It's just how it works. As
Yep.
long as there's not a serious injury, it doesn't spill over into the fans. It's usually 5 games or less, right? I agree with you of what you're trying to say here because you're talking about multi-millionaires that are allowed to essentially assault someone or attempt assault, and there's no court proceedings. There's a fine that is kind of relative to their pay scale, but 9 times out of 10, like you think about it, a 5 game ban in an
He's not.
82 game season is
You reckon
nothing.
he'll get? You reckon he'll get 5 games? I'm going to take a stab here
No,
too.
I'm no, I'd say no, that's what I'm saying. I'm using 5 games as a benchmark here because 5 games out of 82, right? That's I can't think of relative terms, but we work what 48 hour like 48 weeks in a year approximately, right? Depending on what you do for your job. It's basically like not being paid for 1 week of work. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't influence your money a lot, right? And you're talking about a marketable thing that is impressionable, that people see, but then you also have that competitive fire, right? And this is just what happens. I mean, another good example of this is the Dylan Brooks and Donovan Mitchell situation, right?
Look, there's
Where
differences. There's
it's a little bit
differences
more
though.
of a basketball play,
Correct.
but we've played basketball before, and I think it's one of those things you're a bit frustrated, you go for a bit of a cheap shot. And what's the repercussions for that? Because, and this comes back to the same conversation we've had heaps of times. Tough league versus skilled league, right? And technically, Mo Bamba, real tough guy, right? If you were playing ball and he's going to rough you up, that's the tough guy essence that you're going for. But obviously, it's not in the spirit of the game.
I think look, the Dylan Brooks and the Donovan Mitchell one, like you alluded to, was an in-game play. And although it escalated to what it was, and I think Mitchell got fined, Dylan Brooks got 1 game, you would take it as the context of the game. I'm not saying that was pretty or suitable or anything like that, okay? But if we go back to the Mo Bamba one, this is a player that was on the bench that left the bench and obviously then had a swing at Austin Rivers, which was an active player in the game because there was obviously some trash talk going on. I've seen some of the extra videos. I think Mo Bamba laughed at him because he missed a shot before or something like that. Maybe had a few words there. Austin Rivers came back and had a comeback after, something else to say when he came back down the court, and then it escalated from there. Look, personally, thinking here, I reckon Mo Bamba should get at least 10 games. Okay, and I think what it needs to do here is set an expectation that you can't leave the bench area. Okay, you can talk as much
Uh,
trash as you want. Okay, but you can't leave the bench area here and interact with players in the game in that way. Okay, and I think
breaking news.
yeah.
Breaking
Oh,
news.
oh,
Breaking news, Gaz.
what do we got here?
6 hours ago, I have an article that does give you the exact information that you need. Are you holding on to your seat? Because you're going to be disappointed. Mo Bamba has been suspended for 4 games without pay, and Austin Rivers has been suspended for 3 games without pay. And in addition to that, Jalen Suggs has been suspended 1 game
Mhm.
because he escalated the situation. Jaden McDaniels from the Timberwolves has been fined 20,000 for his role in the altercation, and that is it. That is There you go.
Look,
I
I
hate
think.
to interrupt your take midway, but
Oh wow!
that's
Well,
that's
breaking news. I don't know. We need some additional sound effects here as well in this video, right? But but look, I think that's trending in the right direction. But I still don't think it's enough. Okay, I think it should be more. Okay, 4 games is probably more than maybe others had thought he would cop. Like I said, I thought maybe 2. Okay, but I think he should get more. I said 10. Okay, and I'm alluding to if we talk about us as juniors and us as sort of just casual amateur basketball players playing with friends and things like that. All right. Um, I know if we did something like this. Hell, I don't know. What would you get? I'm sure you've been a tribunal before, right? Okay. If you escalated in the game something like this, you would cop half a year. You would cop maybe even 12 months. Okay. So why are we giving these professional players just a slap on the wrist that, yes, obviously is very expensive compared to, the average bloke and how much they make, okay, when these things escalate because they're the ones that everyone sees. And like I said, it doesn't do basketball and doesn't do the NBA any favors when you get these sort of scenes.
well, I think depending on the punishment, I think the rationale is if the wrong player does something like this, you've set the precedence with the right players. And what I mean by that is if Steph Curry, for some reason, took a swing at someone, right? The precedence has been set by Mo Bamba, right? That's going to be a 4 game suspension, Steph Curry. Because if you go gung ho on this and you say, no, we're not tolerating this, that's a year out of the league, surely, as a tactical thing, some teams would try to antagonize the good players to a point where they end up getting suspended for the season, right? It'd be a pendulum swing in the opposite way. But we're okay with Mo Bamba and Austin Rivers getting suspended. No one who's paid for tickets in the next 4 games is going to be too disappointed that they didn't get to see Mo Bamba, except for fans of that Jack Harlow song. They might be partially disappointed. But everyone else is going to move on with their lives, no biggie. But if Steph Curry took a swing at someone and they suspended him for 4 games, that's impacting the product, right? So that would be my interpretation of this: is that they do take it seriously, but they can't take it that seriously because it would open up the precedence that some players never return to the league.
I pause for a moment here because um, I'm not saying Mo Bamba should be suspended half a year. Okay, I nominated 10 games. That's probably effective to about 3 weeks. All right, 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Um, I think it's just well, effectively, I don't know, maybe you could spin this a different way. Hell, if you can, move your way through junior ranks and through, obviously through the college system and things like that, you get to a point where you can actually swing at people while you get paid for it. I don't know. Maybe that's a way to spin it. Okay. I don't know. But I guess what I'm trying to just say here, from us, from our level, and the millions of other players that are our level that just play amateur basketball because we love basketball. All right. If we were to escalate something like that, all right, we wouldn't get a slap on the wrist. We wouldn't get banned for 2 or 3 weeks. All right, hell, we'd get banned for 6 to 12 months minimum. Minimum.
But we're not making the local stadiums any money, right? And technically speaking, depending on the severity of it, obviously police charges get brought into it as well, right? So the Malice in the Palace is probably the best example of this. It did happen to fans. That's why there's that differentiation of fans and etc. But there were court cases created because of those things. And you know what? Be a real pioneer for a player to sue another player for injuring them, right? We think back to I'm 95% sure it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that he punched someone in the face. Like he got whacked in the torso, and then there's video footage of him punching the guy, and it's like, behind the play. And he ended up like basically breaking his jaw and stuff like that. We saw it last season as well with Grayson Allen and Alex Caruso. Like, do we
Mm-mm.
need an injury to occur to then have a repercussion? Do we need something like I it's a big topic, right? So it's probably why I'm slurring my words a little bit. It's like nothing too serious escalated out of this situation, but it is a brawl and it does look bad and there's intent, right? Does it go to a criminal level? I don't know. Does it have to have him? Does if Austin Rivers got punched in the face, does he get suspended still? Does he, does he if he gets injured, is there some different level of thing here? I get what you're trying to do with this. I just don't know what the NBA does because, as I said, if a good player loses their cool and takes a swing at someone, you don't want to have a precedence where you ban them for half a season.
I think now you're treading in dangerous territory there. So we're basically saying, which look, we weren't born yesterday, but you're basically saying that some players have greater privileges than others in the NBA. But ultimately, hey, if we lose a season of, you use Steph Curry as an example, and no one's really seeing him swing at someone, he might throw a mouthpiece at them or something. but that if he was to be suspended for a significant amount of time and the marketing money that might be lost there, I think the league has enough superstars here that would sort of reduce the impact of such a situation occurring. But I think the bigger point here is that if players are being suspended more significantly, like 10 games, not four, not two, not one, okay, 10 games at a minimum. All right. I think, I think, maybe I'm wrong, okay, that you would reconsider your actions here, okay, before you took them to such a point. Okay. Because I think at the moment, a lot of players, and you sort of see it with Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Pat Beverly to an extent, hey, I'll just come over and I'll just escalate this. And I know I'm going to cop one game, two games, but that's all right. I'll slap on the wrist there. Okay. But what if you knew that was going to be 10? Okay. I think you're going to reconsider your actions there.
That's, you know what? I think you nailed it right at the end there. It's more the take around a bigger a bigger games missed should be instigated to make people double think it. Because the one that popped into my head when you said Pat Bev is the Aiton push,
Mm,
right? So when he came over and pushed him in the back, it's a dangerous play, could have hurt him, etc. But it's pure escalation, right? And everyone loves it because it's tough guy stuff standing up for teammate. But Pat Bev, I believe he got a game or two for that. He got a 2 game suspension for that,
mm, mm.
right? For potentially almost hurting a player. If that looms in the back of his head, hey, this is going to cost me an eighth of the season, perhaps this is not a wise thing to do, right? And maybe what you could do as well is you could set up a system that doubles your punishment if you continue to do these things, right? Your reputation, kind of like the tech foul rule, when you get 16, then you get a suspension. Same for that. If you ended up getting 2 different game suspensions during the season, that there is a significant contribution of your salary to a charity or a restructuring of your time or something like that.
Oh, look, maybe you know me quite well. Maybe I'm just a bit salty here that I don't get to swing at players while I'm on the bench, while I play, on a Monday night league sort of thing, and be willing to take 2 weeks suspension, okay? Because it's not how it is. And I guess, you talked about the Aiton push, from Pat Bev. If you actually think back a year ago, how about the Jokic push on Markieff Morris?
Yep.
Yeah. And Markieff Morris lost, I don't know, 80% of that season, apparently because he had a sore neck or a sore back. I don't know. All right. I haven't seen any of the
A
medical
whiplash.
records there. Yeah, whiplash, right? Severe whiplash from being pushed to the ground. All right. But I think, these things just, it's easy to gloss it over. It's easy to say it's a man sport or whatever you want to call this, and it is what it is. But I don't know. I think again, something needs to be considered here to really just really cut these sort of optics out for the game that we obviously love to watch.
You know what? Maybe, especially in Jokic's situation, maybe like a best and fairest would be a good way to make sure that someone gets it. Because
It
you know what? Reminding ourselves of that push, he won the MVP and he took a guy out. That's
well,
pretty impressive. Not
it's
many
pretty.
MVPs get to take someone out
It was the
in the
best
same
and
season.
I don't know. Clearly
Best
not
and
fairest,
dangerous.
right?
Best and dangerous.
Yo, this is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.